The impact of no contact on a dismissive avoidant. Perhaps you've started to go no contact, perhaps you're about to start no contact and you want to know the impact. You want to know the effect it will have on your ex, whether that will increase your chances of getting back together, whether that will accelerate their process of moving on and forgetting you. I will explain everything after the jingle.
igetmyexback.com. Everyone deserves a second chance.
So what happens right after the breakup is that initial relief. They enjoy, I'm free again, I can do whatever I want. They also enjoy the idea that they don't have to depend on you or sort of have to update you or to support you. The emotional demands, that's how we refer to it. And this idea of control. In relationship, there's always a battle of control. I want to do things my own way. I want you to do those things. When you're single, you can do whatever you want, right? You feel in control again, and that's what avoidance would really enjoy. Now, having said that, it's important to assess whether it's not necessarily about avoidance. The problem with avoidance is the signs. The problem with avoidance is when you look at the situation, it's very hard to decrypt. If you're not sure whether you have any chance of getting back with your partner, have a look in the description. There's a quiz, and actually I put together something specific to avoidant attachment people. Another element that happens that you don't see is the emotional numbness. What they do, people refer avoidant as dismissive avoidant. They dismiss their emotions, they suppress their emotions, right? And they do it. They're quite good at doing that. And for many years, I thought I had this superpower because I'm an avoidant, and that being able to suppress my emotions, I thought that was about regulating my emotion. It's very different. What would happen as well, because they don't want to feel those emotions, they will distract themselves with work, with hobbies. Sometimes they become workaholic, and you'll find a lot of avoidants, they are extremely performant and high achievers because at work they excel because they don't have to be vulnerable, they don't have to develop intimacy, they just have to do things, right? And they love that as well. And the thing is, obviously, when you are dealing with an avoidant, they appear that they don't care. They appear uninterested. They appear they're not sad. They don't show anything. They have this poker face. And it's very hard to deal with when you are trying to get back with them, when you are trying to assess whether there's a future with them. This is why I'm explaining those things so you don't lose hope, you just keep motivated, and it's just a question of timing. Let me explain that in a second. Another element is subconscious distress. So they will experience anxiety and sadness. You will never see it, but they will experience it. They actually sometimes don't even know it's anxiety, right? They don't feel great. Again, they will distract themselves. They'll try to do any sort of coping mechanism not to feel this, but they will feel that. And they will start having thoughts about you. They will start reflecting on the relationship, and they will have this inner conflict between independence. I want to be on my own. I want to be in my space. I want to be on my island, and the craving for connection, which is a fundamental and core needs that we all share, but being attached to someone. As children, we are attached to our primary attachment giver. As adults, that primary attachment figure becomes your partner, okay? And they're replaying this, and this is a deep need that we all share. The problem with avoidance is that they suppress this need. They feel it's bad. Right? Being in a relationship, I like the idea, but in reality, when I'm in a relationship, that becomes too stressful. So how do they cope with no contact? One thing that they do quite well is that they focus on self-improvement. They are self-reliant, they are self-centered, and therefore, when they have a hard time, they focus all their attention on themselves. It's something you can learn if you have an anxious attachment style, by the way. This is the opportunity for you to work on that self-improvement. For them, it will be more about work or hobbies or activities, and there are great ways to to focus more on yourself. I would also argue that you also need to work on your attachment style, learning how you can be more secure, learning how you can be more assertive, how to express your needs, etc., etc., etc. This is usually what they don't do that because they don't understand. but if you're watching this video and you're keen on learning, this is also what you can add to your bucket list of things you should be doing right now. They will avoid emotional conversation, obviously. They will never talk to their friend, never talk to their family about the breakup. And they will potentially engage in superficial relationships, whether it's friendship or loving relationship. So now, don't freak out when I say loving relationship. If they rebound at this stage, it's just because they need someone to distract themselves, which means that this relationship will fail. According to, depending if your relationship mattered. If you were together for 3 or 6 months and that was a fling and you're not necessarily sure about their feelings, yeah, they rebound and they rebound again and they rebound again, but they don't necessarily, will never have the opportunity to reflect on what they've lost. Usually when you start a rebound after a breakup, there's usually towards the end of this rebound relationship, a phase where you start comparing things, right? And even when you're an avoidant, you start like, okay, this relationship didn't work. But if I compare to the previous one, that gave me way more fulfillment, that was way more sort of exciting and interesting and where I felt connected, this is where they start realizing what they've lost. Okay, so them dating someone is not the end of the world. Also, another element that you have to be aware is the delayed emotional response. So you have to understand that from your point of view, you are very sort of have strong emotions right after the breakup and you want to express those emotions. You are, you're feeling, this pain, this anger right after the breakup. For them, it comes after. They delay the response. And that's why there's always a disconnection between your experience of the breakup and their experience of the breakup. It takes them weeks and months to finally feel the way you feel. And we want, when we're in a relationship or, in the context of breakup, we want to be understood. We want our partner, we want our ex to understand our experience. But the problem is that there's a disconnection in terms of the timeline of how we experience this breakup. And trust me, if your relationship was important to him or her, they will feel a sense of regret. They will feel a sense of longing. But that comes after. So right now, your reality would be totally different than his or hers. So what you should not do during the contact. Dwell on the past. Being obsessed about thoughts around I should have, I could have. This won't bring them back and this won't give you any answers about what you have to do. It's important to reflect. That's what I do with my clients. First session, we reflect on the relationship, but we have like 1 session on this. I don't spend like 10 sessions on dwelling on the past. And actually it's half of the first session. Very quickly we did like, okay, what can we do? What can we implement? Another thing is monitor social media, because obviously we want to try and make sense of what's going on. We don't have any signs. They appear to be distant. If you speak to people, they tell you like they're fine. And so we want to make sense. We want to fill the gap, the narrative. Looking at social media is the best way to get triggered. It's also the best way to get confused, because what you see on social media, and I don't know if you're aware, but what you see on social media is not the reality. What you see on social media is the happy moments, the thing that he or she decides or selects that, to show the world. That doesn't reflect their internal world. Third element is assume that everything will be fine when you be together. Or the other way around is, I'm so much in pain right now because of this breakup. If I want to feel better, I need to get back in touch with them. I need to get back with them. It doesn't happen like this. The pain is much about the shock, the disappointment, also this idea of it's unfinished business. But getting back together won't necessarily deliver what you deserve. Your pain is in a way the sign for you to address your insecurities, to discover or learn more about yourself, and have a proper plan of action to design and create the relationship you deserve. That's it. Your partner, whether it's your ex or he or she, is not responsible for your happiness, unfortunately. That's your role. And you have to understand this. Maybe this breakup is the painful way to discover this, to realize this, but trust me, it is a pivotal moment in your life potentially. Now, what should you do during the contact? Project your time. You have 30 hours, 40 hours extra because you're not with that person. What are you going to do with this time? As you know, nature abhors a vacuum. If you don't plan, if you don't keep yourself, it's not necessarily being busy, but if you remain passive, this is when you're going to have those negative thoughts. This is when you're going to feel lonely. This is when you're going to feel anxious. By being proactive, by having a clear idea of what I'm going to do this week, what I'm going to do tomorrow, what I'm going to do today, you'll have also a sense of purpose, a sense of also self-efficacy. I'm progressing, I'm moving forward. There's things I'm looking forward to, sorry. Other thing you should do, watching videos, okay, this is good. Subscribing, it's even better. But even better than watching my videos or subscribing to my channel is to take action. As I said before, it's interesting to reflect, it's interesting to have therapy session, etc. It's really about action. It's really about what you implement now that will deliver the results in your future relationships, whether it's with your ex or not. What you have to do is, okay, I have no other option but to work on myself and determine the person you want to be at the end of this process. Remember that motivation or the happy feelings, they always come after action. There's been studies on this. Don't wait to feel motivated. You can wait for months to feel motivated. Find tiny little things that you could be doing today, tomorrow. Switch off this video after when you're done and do something. Treat yourself, self-care. Find something that excites you. Find something that gives you pleasure. Call a friend, go out, go for a walk, whatever, do something. I don't know anyone who feels depressed after going for a run. I don't know anyone who feels sad after he talks or have a laugh with a friend. Okay, so just do it. You don't feel like doing it, you feel like I want to stay at home in my PJs, watching Netflix, etc., eating ice cream. Okay, fair enough. Maybe you can do it for a week, but then you have to stop. And you have to figure out like, this needs to stop. I will take action. The consideration in terms of reconnecting. You have to understand that your ex will struggle with vulnerability. Being vulnerable is bad. It's a sign of weakness in the mind of an avoidant. So you have to understand that you need to gradually start reconnecting in a what I call non-threatening, non-judgmental way. It takes time. So you have to be patient. The thing is, it always takes way more time than we wish for it when we are anxious, because we know what we want to get it quick, we want to address, there's so many things we want to discuss, but the avoidant is very scared. He wants to move slowly. Let me assess if it's a safe space, okay? Also, in the process of recovering the relationship, you have to raise your level of expectation. Usually we start with like, I need this person at all costs. You put that person on a pedestal. No. You have to assess, and that's the benefit of working on yourself is learning what you want, what you don't want, because there are probably things that you didn't like in this relationship. Even though they took the decision to end the relationship, I'm pretty sure that if I asked you 6 months before the breakup, if there are things that you would like to improve in the relationship, you would give me a list. So it's important for you, you're not going to get back together at all costs. What will be the price of getting back together? The whole point, my work is to help you get back together, but on the better terms. I do believe that after a breakup, when people get back together, their relationship is stronger. But there's also cases where you can't make it stronger. The person is not willing to give you what you want. And therefore, the best solution is to find another relationship. If you have any question, if it doesn't make sense, if you want to have a chat with me, have a look in the description. There's a link to book 15 minutes calls. If you have any other questions, let me know as well in the comment section, and I'll see you next time. Take care.